Welcome back sa SIBOL 2022 National Team Selection powered by Smart. Muli kami ang inyong casters. My name is Theo Uwomi Ignacio. Kasama ko dito si Renmar Reptar Santa Cruz. Papasok na tayo sa Game 3 between NXPE, oy nice, may name tag ka na, at Blacklist International. Alam mo, yung hinahanap ko yung bote kung sinulatan ko ng pangalan ko pero malayo hindi ko maabot ngayon. Men, game number 2, we saw a very dominant performance coming in from Blacklist International, especially around mid-game. Hinipe natin ang Pakito ni Wise at yung Pakito na 100% win rate. But let's talk about that Diggy pick na nag-debut today. Ginamit ni Oh My Venus, and I feel like Diggy is a situational pick for most of the time, but the pressure during the laning phase of Donut was something that only the Diggy could offer.
Yeah, and at the same time, hindi naman sa sobrang one-sided yung matchup dun sa gold lane. They both had the right tools to answer each other. Again, yung first blood ng laro ay napunta sa kamay ni Cadenza, si Kenneth Castro on that Lolita, maximizing the damage and the stun that you can dish out as a Lolita. And of course, na nakakoncussive blast siya na nakapagtulong sa early game burst damage na pwede niya ibigay from levels 1 to 3 or even 1 to 4 kontra sa Clint. And I actually love that gold lane matchup, and I feel like a lot of the game was determined with what happened there. Cadenza and Donut versus Oh My Venus and Al. They both played that. Both pairs played it really well. Nakita din natin na minsan si Cadenza na hinintay niya talaga yung paggamit ng ultimate niya kasi alam niya meron din reverse time yung Diggy na kung hindi siya mag-ingat baka bigla mahatak siya pabalik. And baka ma-interrupt pa niya yung pag-charge up niya ng Numenon Blast. Nakita din natin yun sa bandang dulo in the final siege wherein Cadenza looked like he had a great opportunity. He was able to charge it up. Pero nakita mo na you could see it looking at the ultimate availabilities that even him, hinihintay niya yung reverse time kasi baka biglang ma-interrupt yung ultimate niya. So, the day pickup by Blacklist International was great. There were two main crowd control heroes na kailangan iwasan ng NXPE, ng Blacklist International on the side of NXPE Evos. Again, the Lolita and the Cho, and the Diggy just helped so much with alleviating that pressure.
Yep, and alleviating pressure, exerting pressure, that's something that the Diggy is known for, especially in the hands of a world-class position 5 player or position 4-5 player such as Oh My Venus, John Mar Villaluna. Let's look at the smart picks and bans now for game number 3. This might just be the last game if Blacklist International wins, but if NXPE wins, we're going to game 4. Smart picks and bans is of course brought to you by Smart. Experience the power of Smart 5G in over 4,900 sites nationwide. Switch now to experience the difference. Visit smart.com.ph/MNP to learn more. Hashtag muling lumakad matatag and hashtag SIBOL powered by Smart ang ating official hashtags para sa SIBOL 2022 National Team Selection. Estes at Valentina muli ang ating first bans of game number 3.
Di ako masusurpresa kung parehas lang ang mga bans makita natin. Siguro mga konting adjustment lang on the side of Nexplay Evos in terms of what they are willing to ban out. Baka magpapalusot sila ng isang hero dito ni Oh My Venus. If not, they can still go for the Estes, Rafaela, Matilda, then palitan na lang nila yung order of ano yung pwede nila piliin. Maybe they won't first pick the Lolita, baka iba yung pwede i-prioritize ng Nexplay Evos.
And the Lolita was definitely a good pick for Nexplay Evos, but I feel like they did not expect that Diggy pick coming in from Blacklist International after even banning out a lot of the heroes coming in from the kit or the hero pool rather of John Mar Villaluna or Oh My Venus. Tingnan natin kung ano nga ba ang third ban ng Nexplay Evos dito, kung tama nga ba ang iyong hinala na magpapalusot sila ng isang hero para yun na lang ang gamitin, because Matilda still open. Matilda ang kanilang third ban ng game number
2. Just waiting on the ban here. I think pinapag-isipan ng Nexplay Evos na okay, what if Estes and Rafaela is enough? We can open the Matilda, just ban out something else. Baka tanggalin nila Pakito or pick up the Pakito first off. But they decide to respect the Phovius na nilaro ni Dominic kanina. Nahirapan doon si Renje in that matchup with Show versus the Phovius. And of course, the response then of Dominic sa mga skirmishes sa team fights nangyari sa mapa.
Yeah, definitely. And now that they took out the Fovios, nakaamoy ang Blacklist International. Most likely Donut will be playing that 1-1. And we have seen 1-1 respect fans talagang ginagawa yan against Donut, against NXPE. And expect na rin siguro ito ng Nexplay Evos. And alam naman natin na hindi lang naman 1-1 ang kayang laruin ng gold laner ng Nexplay Evos. Pero indeed, this is a comfort pick para sa side ng NXPE and a great ban for the side of Blacklist International. Now, Nexplay Evos, they have the priority pick once again. They could take the Lolita once more if they want to. Pwede rin naman nilang kunin ang Sicilian agad ni Yeli Hayes. Marami silang option para sa ating first pick.
Yep. Pwede rin sila mag first pick glue kung gusto nila. Hindi pa sila nagpapakita ng glue, but binuksan nila ang Matilda dahil gusto din nila piliin bilang first pick. So, Blacklist International, bukas din para sa kanila ang Pakito if they want to run that back. They can also play the Esmeralda, which can go into the X-Plane, and of course, going up against ng Matilda. Masayang buhay ng isang Esmeralda with all the shields that you'll be able to steal. But then, so many of the classic Blacklist International picks are open. You have YSS available. Edith, not a classic pick, but one of the newer ones for Haji. Bukas din. You can also pick up the Pakito now. Lot of options for Blacklist International on the board.
Yeah, and they could even pick up the Lolita for themselves if they don't want to reveal something new. The Eve was left open. Kanina, nung game number 2, Eve ang third ban ng ang Blacklist International. Pero ngayon na-open na sila mismo ang kukuha ng Eve para sa mid lane. At kukunin na rin nila ang Pakito na hindi naman natin alam kung mapupunta pa sa kamay ni Dominic o mapupunta sa kamay ni Wise. Both of them can play the Pakito really well. So this is still a flex pick.
And then tinitignan ko dito for Nexplay Evos if they're willing to pick up either the Yuzong or the Ruby. If they want to secure their gold laner now, they can actually pick up the Brody. Other than the 1-1, yun pa yung isang pick na nakita natin nilaro ni Mario Stan. Again, that is Donut. So those are the options I'm seeing available for them. If ever they can flex the Matilda, hindi nila kailangan igawin yung position 5. They can make it a position 4. They can make it a Ruby tank. And they do pick up the Yuzong. Let's see what the other pick will be.
Abangan natin. Mukhang
Sicilian.
kukunin na nga nila ang Sicilian ni Eli Hayes o ni Mr. Bataanon in the mid lane. And ito Yuzong, one of the best backline dives, especially against an Eve. So, this Yuzong, ito yung tipo na pag nakita mo yung Eve, tas open yung Yuzong, matic na yan lock in na yan with the Petrify. So, there's a lot of backline access para sa Nexplay Evos. Meron silang Circling Eagle na nanggagaling dito kay Matilda. At meron din silang Black Dragon form and the Furious Dive as well from the Yuzong. So, kailangan mag-ingat ang positioning ng Eve ng Blacklist International. Let's see kung ano ang kanilang magiging final pick for the first picking phase, They already have the Pakito, they have an Eve. Di na ako magtataka if they get a Ruby as well. But sabi nila, mamaya na yon, sapak pang sapak. May Aldous na tayo, may Pakito na rin.
Daming suntok dito para sa Blacklist International. I think NXPE are gonna have their eyes set on banning out the Ruby. Ruby makes sense as their position 5 here para mapares mo sa Eve. But in the event na baka si Haji maglalaro ng Eve na to, then iba yung magiging roamer ng Blacklist International. Unless, of course, they can always flex. That's one thing that you have to consider going up against Blacklist. Silikimam and John Marvili Luna can flex things around, change things up. But Blacklist still respecting the possibility of a Lilia getting picked. Pwede din nila ilagay yung Lilia sa gold lane. With the Matilda and Sicilian on board, yes, Lilia gold lane could have been a possibility and could have been problematic for Blacklist International. Of course, with the two main melee heroes that they have.
And gusto ko rin sabihin, itong Lilia gold lane, ang feeling ko one of the highest usage rate ng Lilia gold lane ang Nexplay Evos in the latest season of MPL Philippines. So this actually makes sense out of data. You really have to respect the analysts from both squads dito. Talagang grounded on logic lahat ng ginagawa nila. So shout out of course sa mga coaches and analysts ng Nexplay Evos and Blacklist International. That is Coach Bon Chan, Master the Basics, and of course si Idol Zico na nasa Nexplay Evos ngayon. Hopefully things are getting better there. But let's go back to the banning phase. meron tayong show ban na nanggagaling sa Nexplay Evos. Hindi lang naman si Rene J ang magaling mag-show sa matchup na to. Alam na alam din ng buong mundo na si Haji ay isa sa mga best show in the world.
Yep, definitely true. Of course, Nexplay Evos respecting that. No Ruby ban here. Unless Nexplay Evos wants to ban that on the last, but there will still be options here for Blacklist International for the position 5. I think Nexplay Evos iniisip nila, tatanggalin ba natin Edith? Tatanggalin ba natin Ruby? Those are the main options here that NXPE Evos might be looking at removing, taking their time. Meanwhile, Blacklist International, tinanggal nila yung Lancelot. However, Nexplay Evos, removing the Angela, of course, Angela, Aldous, Angela, Pakito. Kung sino man sasaniban ni Angela sa lineup na to, even though hindi pa kompleto lineup ng Blacklist International, it could have been a really scary pick to go up against. So, Nexplay Evos respecting that one.
Parang nuclear bomb yung Aldous na may Angela, di ba? Parang tatanggapin mo na lang yung kamatayan mo pag ikaw ang tinarget ng contract chase. Fate.
Good day.
Will be a gold lane pick for the side of Blacklist International. You're reacting that this is a good take. Bakit nga ba napakaganda ng Brody ngayon sa meta na to?
Yeah, isa sa mga sinabi ko kanina kung pwedeng option ni Donut. I mean, if we're just looking for what heroes na nakita natin nalaro na ni Donut, Brody was one of them. So Nexplay Evos might actually be considering something like the Claude. If they want to, of course, that mobility will help with maybe being able to avoid damage from the Aldous, maybe damage from the Pakito. Isang magandang placement ng BMI. May tool siya na pang takas. Jawhead gets picked up. So, might either be Matilda or Sicilian in the gold lane. Oh, okay. It's a Ling in the jungle. Jawhead might be the roam, or it might actually be a side lane Jawhead. There's still flexibility here. Most likely, the Sicilian will be going into the mid lane. So, tinitignan ko na lang dito saan mapupunta yung Jawhead at saka yung Matilda.
We might be seeing a gold lane Sicilian. Honestly, like I feel like this could be a gold lane Sicilian, something that the coaches and the analysts of Nexplay Evos might even try out, because it does make sense if you think about it. Sicilian really do rely on a lot of stacks. Kailangan mabilis ng stacks niya, but imagine if the Sicilian could get the items faster. So there's a lot of things that we have to consider looking at Nexplay Evos right now. The only thing that's sure here is that the Yuzhong will most likely be going to the XP lane, at ang Ling naman ay mapupunta sa jungle. Nabanggit mo ang Edith kanina, and now Edith will be the last pick for Blacklist International. There's a lot of melee damage for Blacklist, no? Pero parang the only ranged damage dealer that they have will be that Edith.
Yeah, and I just have to say, Brody, yeah. I just have to say, kudos to Nexplay Evos, of course. Aware tayo sa situation nila with them just still not being able to adjust their drafting, adjust to their playstyle to the situation, not giving up, still giving a good fight. Again, it was them who agreed with the league operations team on how to proceed forward, and nakita natin talaga yung creativity on the side of Nexplay Evos in terms of how they're drafting the game, the options that they have available. I'm excited to see who's gonna be going where in terms of where the heroes are going to be going in the map. Sicilian gold lane, as you mentioned, is a possibility. It might be difficult to get the stacks there. Baka maging malaki yung heat map or mainit yung heat map ng gold lane if yung Sicilian mapupunta sa gold lane going up against that Brody. But with the Matilda and the Jawhead roaming around, that might make sense. Sila yung maging post 5 and 4, tas si Yuzhong mapunta sa post 3 in the XP lane.
Yep. Let's see kung saan nga ba mapupunta ang ating mga manlalaro at sa pagpasok natin sa Land of Dawn for game number 3 of NXPE versus Blacklist International. We're heading on to a slight pause here, but are we seeing? Nakita mo ba yon? Nasilip mo ba? H2.
What?
On the lane.
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
What? Really?
Nasilip
Hindi ko
mo
nakita.
ba? Ako nasilip
I missed it. He back?
H2. Back in the lane.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Whoa.
So, this is good news, of course. We have a match once again, the full roster of NXPE versus Blacklist International. Ito yung inaabangan ng fans. Gumising yung maaga ang mga fans para sa ganitong klaseng matchup. Hopefully everything is resolved, no? Hopefully everything is fine and wala na tayong mga nararamdaman na mali sa bootcamp and other stuff like that. Man, this is feeling ko game number 1 to eh. Para sa akin, this is game number 1. But of course, we have to count the wins of Blacklist International already. They dominated game number 2. And they're already at match point. So para sa mga kakarating pa lang, guys, this is already a 2-0 match with Blacklist International taking the lead. 1 penalty point for game number 1 and 1 dominating win in game number 2. Game number 3 is H2's debut game in this series, and we now have a full roster versus full roster matchup. And happy MLBB watching, everyone. Renmar, what is something that you're waiting for? Nung nakita ko yung link, parang medyo napailing na ako eh. Tapos sabi ko, baka. Pero nung nakita ko yung screen, parang kahit may pause, hinanap ko kaagad eh. Tapos, yun.
If that's the case, well, kung matagal, like just in any sports scenes, even though like I'm not a Boston Celtics fan, you cannot forget those moments where Larry Bird was taken out of the game, brought back just in time. Paul Pierce back in 2008 or 2009, taken out of the middle of the game, came back just in time, and parang moral booster yun na makita mo yung isang player mo na baka hindi nakapaglaro or for some reason had to stop playing and then coming back. It could be a really big morale boost para sa Nexplay Evos and sigurado para sa NXPE Evos fans. I'm sure though that H2, hopefully na if he is really playing in this one, which I'm sure he is, if pag nakita mo talaga yung pangalan niya, like of course that's H2, then hopefully he's not forcing himself and of course he's just looking out for his health. Of course, I'm sure the fans of Nexplay Evos are hoping for a, an H2 like at the top of his form and in good health. Hopefully that is what we're gonna get, and I'm excited to see the start of this matchup, man. It's good to see. It's good to see.
Good to see. Blacklist International, of course, feeling ko masaya din yung agents eh. Because nobody really wants a win against a compromised team. And alam natin ang Blacklist International, they have nothing to prove. They are world champions. But they do not want to parang get wins na parang may masasabi pa yung mga ibang tao na kasi wala si ganito, kasi may ganito, ganyan. And right now, this is a fair match between, not that the other ones are unfair of course, but this is like the main rosters of both NXPE and Blacklist International, and I can't help but to hype this up and be happy about it, considering that this is the match na talagang inaabangan natin na mangyari, na full roster both squads. So we're just waiting for the pause to be resolved. Nag-aayos lang sila ng mga devices nila sa bootcamp nila, and hopefully this game will be explosive considering na game number 3 na, one more win for Blacklist International and they will continue in the winners bracket. So para sa mga NXPE fans dyan na medyo kinakabahan na kahit matalo po sila sa game number 3, syempre para sa inyo wag naman sana, may losers bracket pa po tayo, guys. So pwede pang bumawi sa losers bracket ang mga favorite teams nyo if they're coming from the winners bracket. Meron po tayong second lives kapag sa winners bracket ka natalo.
Yeah. Any chance nakita mo ba kung ano yung final lane configurations? Like, were you able to see if the Sicilian was going to the gold lane or not? Kasi hindi ko nakita yung
actually, nag-quick sweep lang ako ng player names. Nakita ko yung pangalan, tapos biglang bumalik na sa atin yung graphic.
Yung hinanap ko lang talaga, sa H2 ba yun? Sa H2 ba yung mag-link?
Sa H2 ba yun? Ginanong ko lang yun. Kasi may link, men. Pag may nakita kang link sa NXPE, parang ang hirap namang hindi isipin na si H2 yung gagamit ng link na yun, di ba? We already know that. But you know what? Let's see it for ourselves once again as we enter game number 3 between NXPE and Blacklist International. Let's go to the land of dawn. It is indeed H2 on that lane and Donut on a gold lane, Sicilian.
Man, you know what? Whatever happened, sobrang masaya lang to na makita na kahit may pinagdaanan, may dinadaanan, na susubukan mo talaga lahat, ibigay lahat sa para sa team mo. At hindi lang to para sa team para sa bansa Again, kung sino mananalo dito at the end of our SIBOL 2022 National Team Selection Tournament ay madadagdag sa pool ng SIBOL players natin. And you gotta respect, no matter who you support as a team, this kind of dedication. Despite all that you're going through, you're still in the game, man.
Yeah, and right now, Yelly Hayes a little bit low on the HP side. Great aggression coming in from Oh My Venus, and we are looking at a Haji Edith pick na nakita na natin in action yesterday. Really great on this Edith pick. I feel like one of the first few pro players in the country to actually have that Edith in his pocket picks right now in the current meta. Dominic pala ang gagamit, of course, ng ating Makito, but first blood will go to the Sicilian with H2O burning that Tempest of Blades. Nexplay Evos na naman ang makakakuha ng first blood.
Let's start here for NXPE, but again, they have to amp up this tempo. Kaya importante na nakuha nila yung first blood. Again, this is an Aldous that they're up against. Not even a late game Aldous, it's an early game Aldous kung nasa kamay ni Wise.
One and only. Yeah, Blacklist looking to end this turtle, pero pressure pabalik dito sa NXPE. Retry battle, masesecure ni Wise. Nice ultimate coming in kay Venus. Apple Pisha with the guiding wind. Walang mamamatay in that fight, but the turtle will be going to the hands of Blacklist International.
That is the game so far. Close game. Donut, 2 minutes and 40 seconds in, already has that Clock of Destiny. It's a really, really fast build para sa COD. Already, of course, staying in the gold lane, less gold requirement, mas mabilis siya makaka-build ng items dito. And that means nakaka-maximize talaga siya ng mga last hits doon sa siege minions and just the minions in general sa lane niya.
Yeah, and it is very, let's say, the Bat's impact is very useful in terms of last hitting, no? Pero Cadenza, overextending near the gold thing. Di na nga tumingin si Brody, pre. Fade away na lang si Owl.
Fade away basic attack from the Brody. Now, even ball game. Pero malapit pa rin ang gold. Blacklist International since nakuha nila yung unang turtle of the game. Of course, they'll have the slight lead. Ureshi versus Dominic here in the XP lane.
Yep, Ureshi regening a little bit of damage there. And that's just the power of the jump. But this is a 2v4. Parating na rin si Venus. Here comes the contact phase fake. Haji, boy pa rin. Na-slow. Ultimate coming in. Real world manipulation. H2O. Masasa pa ni Del Rosario. And that is just 2 kills. Going to the hands. Blacklist International. Mukhang kukuha pa sila ng plating dito sa gold lane.
A quick and punishing rotation and response from Blacklist International. Good attempt by Nexplay Evos to get more kills there. But this is why we're seeing Brody as one of the top picks right now in the scene. Yung second skill stun niya talaga, sobrang malaking bagay. And paired up with the great reaction of Haji sa Likamap to get into the playing field. Of course, Oh My Venus, great timing as well for the real world manipulation. What looked like to be a good chance for NXPE looked like a better response for Blacklist.
Apple Pisha coming in with Circling Eagle, but Edith is just dealing a lot of damage. That's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane. Clutch ultimate, clutch wrath coming in from Haji.
1-for-1 trade. Beautiful setup there para kay Kenneth Castro. Cadenza getting that initial ejector toss to open up that 1-for-1 trade for Nexplay Evos. Sure, Nexplay Evos would have been happier to get out of that na 1-0 imbes na naging trade, but at this point they'll just be happy being able to get kills to keep themselves close into the game. As 5 minutes in, getting close to a 2,000 plus gold lead, getting close to 3,000 ang gold lead dito ng Blacklist International. Enchanted Talisman picked up by Apple Pisha.
Turtle is already up as well. Blacklist International, 4 people around that turtle. Meron silang na-establish na pressure dito. Pwedeng-pwede nilang gulatin ang NXPE. Now Dominic, makikita si Ureshi, hindi siya man-knock up. And now, Oreshi's really low, and this is really bad for Nexplay Evos considering the Blacklist International would want to take this turtle for themselves. H2O looking for a steal here, would go for the pinch boys. Void Crystal slow coming in from Venus. Real world manipulation to zone out all of the members of Nexplay Evos, and this is a free turtle coming in for Blacklist International. Another fade away coming in from the Brody, and that's 3 kills for Owl as they try to take down the mid lane.
Could be another one. Cadenza,
oh no,
Delgado.
one more. Hindi tatama. Looks like
Flicker.
the flicker in coming in from Venus will finish him off, and now H2 will take a little bit of damage, pero yun na yung trade na lamang naman ng Blacklist International.
4,000 now is the gold lead. NXPE, of course, doing what they can to play safe, but they're just getting surprised by Blacklist International, using and committing flickers to just get setups for their abilities. Tempest of Blades
Oh
forced
no!
out.
Why? Finishes off H2, and then Rosario once again with a one-man punch.
Blue team turret has been destroyed.
Now ahead.
Del Rosario finishing off the kill there on to Salonga. Dominic Delicado, hinahabol dito ni Lagronio.
Yeah, Oreshi in front of 4 people. Delicado, kahit malaking dragon. Here comes the real world manipulation. A lot of damage down, but nice sanguine claws coming in from Donut. Mega kill na naman kay Brody dito. 4-1-3. Owl is dealing so much damage. Blacklist International now ahead by 6,000 gold.
4-1-3 for Lee Howard Gonzalez. Nagwawala na ang Brody ng Blacklist International. Nexplay Evos. Nakita mo, sinusubukan nila ibagalin onto yung tempo, try to get a little bit more control back. Things are starting to get out of hand. Pero out of nowhere, Blacklist International individually would pull out plays. NXPE, tingnan natin kung makakapag-depensa sila and if they can hold on to get a little bit more control of the game. Hinanap din nila mga possibilities na baka makasplit po si H2 pero dito sa purple. Oh no!
Blue team hero has been
Nahuli pa nga si Apple Pisha, pero si Haji, that's a lot of damage coming in from the bat speeds and the impact. Pero puno na ang kanyang rat stacks. Nirespeto ito ng Nexplay Evos. They're gonna give out the turtle once again to Blacklist International as the lead grows more and more in favor of Blacklist.
Good news here for NXPE, boss. Mukhang sumasakit na din talaga ang damage ng Sicilian nila. Donut here is gonna be the X factor at this point in the game. Good minion wave management. Maklear lang yung mga minion waves para paglalaban ng Blacklist International mas malapit sa base.
Cadenza with the ejector. Dominic on the backline. Real world manipulation. Maraming matatamaan pero unang babagsak ang isang miyembro ng Blacklist International. It's a 4-4-1 at ika-cancel ang contract chase fate. Nexplay Evos finally getting a 1-4-0 trade.
Castro with the pick-off onto Soto. That ejector to start everything off. And great play there by Nexplay Evos.
Blue team
Being able to dance around, avoid the damage they needed to avoid. A good call there by Wise to cancel the chase fate. Could have been a kill for Oreshi, pero delikado na yun, nasa loob na yun ng base.
Oh no, Cadenza going in for the conceal play, no? Pero medyo na-telegraph agad ng Blacklist International. Now topside H2 going for the split push. Considering na wala pa pala silang Torre na nakukuha, this is really bad for Nexplay Evos. They need to make sure that they alleviate some map pressure by taking turrets.
Owl with the Hunter Strike now. Uy! Blacklist International, concealed play by Haji, pero nakita ng Nexplay Evos.
Yep, and purple buff, maaagaw mula sa link. H2, medyo nahila. Nagkaroon ng CC chain at bagsak na nga si Dan Ponsalonga. And now Ureshi going into the back line. Ang dami niyang tinatakil na damage. Look at the damage coming in from the Brody. Thor na part memory, nagamit na. Pero si Bata Anon, ang sunod ng Blacklist International. And now 2 people are down for Nexplay Evos. Blacklist, they're looking to push mid-lane. Haji goes in with the knock-up combo. Donut delikado at hindi siya makakaganti ng return kill even with the bat's impact landing. Cadenza naghahanap ng play pero wala na siyang damage dealer na kasama. Doors sisimulan ng Blacklist International at mukhang makukuha ng lead.
Red team has slain the
Great
Lord.
positioning and timing for Haji. Back-to-back great crowd control pickoffs. Yung dun sa may purple buff ni H2 kung saan niya sinubukan mag-finch poise, tumalon dun sa pader para makalapit siya, para ma-retry niya yung purple buff niya. Haji, nakabantay na. Nakita niya, nag-charge up na siya. Nung stun niya, yung knock-up niya, and mid-air or just when he was about to land on the wall, natamaan. Stopping that, knocking up H2, opening up the burst damage and the crowd control chain. Ngayon, Blacklist International nasa gitna, marching with the Lord.
And look at this, the damage coming in from real-world manipulation.
Blue team base
You
zone
gotta
has been
respect that
destroyed.
zone. That's one inhibitor third down for Nexplay Evos. Mid lane already open, but nice clear
Blue
speed
team
coming
base
in from
turret has been
NXPE,
destroyed.
taking down that Lord. Dalawang inhibitor turret lamang ang nakuha ng Blacklist International, pero napakalaki na po ng ating gold lead. 11,000 ang gold lead ng Blacklist International 11 minutes in, at medyo bad news yun para sa NXPE. Ang tanging iniintay na lamang nila ay ang damage na nanggagaling kay Donut.
Yeah. Now Blacklist have full control of the NXP Evos jungle. Alam nila gaano ka-importante ang purple buff para sa Ling ni H2. 3-man positioning. Now gonna be 4. Pero I think may nakita din si H2. Kaunting galaw. Tignan natin. Here's the conceal play.
Mula kay Haji, naghahanap ng target, na-knock up dito si H2, Tempest of Blades ginamit para makabili ng 14 oras, pero inhib-turret muna ang inatake ng Blacklist International. Here comes the torn apart memory, wala siyang mapapatay na isa, pero 5 pa rin ang buhay para sa side ng Blacklist International. Ang base na ata ang sunod, Ureshi, napaka-low ng kanyang HP, nabalibag dito si Owl, at si Owl matatama ng Sir Tigil sa backside, shutdown, manggagaling dito, kaya pulpi siya, pero babagsak din siya with the real-world manipulation, the double kill for Del Rosado. Isa ata ang fall dito ng Blacklist International in Game 3 goes to Blacklist International, a sweep against Nexplay Evos.
Victory!
And that is the series. Blacklist International taking the win, playing like the champions they are. But again, despite everything that happened to them, you can just say nothing bad about Nexplay Evos. They played against champions and they played with the heart of champions. Nexplay Evos against sa lahat na nangyari nila sa kanila kahapon. H2 of course still coming back, still trying to play, doing his absolute best. All the respect to NXPE. This is what you love to see sa mga posibleng maging representatives ng bansa natin sa esports, to be the next SIBOL team playing like champions. Blacklist International and NXPE showing the heart of champions, what it means to be part of SIBOL, what it means for these players to play. It's a great showing, but of course at the end, dominating once again para sa Blacklist International. Paquito still undefeated, Wise still a terror on the Aldos, but this was such a great game for one of their new players that they brought in para sa SIBOL national team selection, Lee Howard Gonzalez on the owl or owl on the Brody. MVP worthy performance. Sobrang agresibo niya dito.
Yep, definitely. And one of the, I think, highest damage dealt as well in this game. But I want to give credit as well to Haji for making a lot of the game-winning plays for Blacklist International. Considering, no, yung mga nakaka-cancel din niya yung Finch Poise. And for NXPE, as you said, playing with the heart of champions. Big respect to NXPE for powering through this series, the first series of the day. I'm sure walang may gusto sa mga nangyari. But everything happens for a reason. May losers bracket pa po tayo para sa mga NXPE fans dyan na nagtatanong kung laglag na ba. Hindi pa po. May losers bracket pa po tayo pag sa winners bracket natalo. But looking at the smart plays of this game, I feel like this is a very dominating game naman mula sa Blacklist International. But what did Blacklist International do exactly? Kumbaga parang hindi naman nangyayari to basta-basta eh. And they did something right in the early game pa lang for this to snowball this way in late game.
Yeah, it would be the reaction and the rotations of Blacklist International. They knew that they needed to put a little bit more focus onto the gold lane. Respeto nila yung Sicilian ni Donut. Actually, in the 8-minute mark, you saw there how much damage he was doing to the Edith, how much damage he was able to do. This was the play also where Nexplay Evos were able to get away with a pickoff onto Dominic Cadenza, opening it up with the ejector toss. And Blacklist, again, to go back to answering your question, it would be the initiations and the surprise pickoffs na dinala ni Haji. Great timing and usage of real-world manipulation from Oh My Venus. Wise, just again being wise. Mr. Del Rosario being Del Rosario, being unstoppable with the farming, being able to win key objective battles, and of course, coming in at the right time with the Aldous to get those kills. Next play Evos, you can see them trying to make plays, and in certain situations, they were able to make plays. Again, Cadenza with the pickoffs, but Blacklist knew when they needed to retreat and when they needed to go back, respecting that Sicilian, the damage that he can dish out. But it just got to the point where things got out of hand for Nexplay Evos. Blacklist still really sharp and still a really, really strong team.
Yeah, and we have to take note that VWise is indeed resting for the MPLPH Season 9. So this might just be the last major tournament nga na mapapanood natin ang VWise tandem. And they are still undefeated in this Phase 2. Ay, no, not undefeated. No? Natalo pala sila ng Bren kahapon ng 1 game. But in terms of series, hindi pa rin sila natatalo. So they will stay in the winner's bracket. Meanwhile for NXPE, now losing to Blacklist International 0-3, they are going to the loser's bracket. So mga sunod na laro ng NXPE ay magiging best of 3. Speaking of winners and losers bracket, mananatili tayo sa winners bracket for our next match, which is Onyx Philippines versus RSG Philippines, both with dominating wins from yesterday's game. Pakito player din si Demon Kite. So tingnan natin kung magkakaroon pa rin ba ng 100% win rate ang Pakito ni Demon Kite in this matchup. Parehas heavy hitters to, men. RSG and Onyx Philippines ang ating sunod na series. And after no, meron din tayong dalawang best of 3. Pupunta naman tayo sa losers bracket. So matagal-tagal pa tayo sa SIBOL 2022 National Team Selection powered by Smart. Muli kami ang inyong naging casters. Name's Tio Omi Ignacio. Kasama ko dito si Renmar Reptar Santa Cruz. Magbabalik ang SIBOL 2022 National Team Selection powered by Smart. Onyx Philippines versus RSG Philippines after this break.